Hi there, it's Andy Roberts again from DistributedResearch.net with another tutorial about seashore image editing, and this one is going to be about a technique which I call tinting photographs. I've got an example of a photograph of a houseboat, as you can see, which I'm going to show you how I'm going to tint. So I'm opening this photograph up in Seashore, zooming out a bit with Apple page down so you can see the whole picture. Alright, so it's a picture of this houseboat, which I need a picture of a yellow boat to illustrate something. There's some houses in the background. It's all a bit grey. The lighting conditions have not given me much colour in this picture. And I need different colours anyway, so first thing I'm going to do is make sure the utility windows, utility windows, hide layers, make sure the layers window is open. There it is. So I'm going to keep the original photograph on the bottom layer. I'm going to call this original. Keep that on the bottom layer and duplicate it. So I'm going to be working on a duplicate of the original with the original underneath. So I'm going to call this one my tints. This is the one I'm going to put a tinted photograph on. Then later on I can always just bring the original back up from underneath as much as I want or as little as I want. So I'm going to switch off the visibility of the original so we don't see that. We just see the layer that we're working on above it, the layer which I've now called tints. That's got an opacity of 100%, so it completely blocks out the original from underneath. We've got that there in case we need it. So that's all we're doing with layers for now until right at the end of the tutorial. I'll move that window out of the way and we look at the tools. The idea is I want to be able to turn this into a yellow boat. So this roof, some of these panels, I want to try adding little splashes of yellow, and then I'm going to slightly tint some of these houses and the mud and things. So I'll be using the paintbrush tool, and the first thing I want to do is get the tolerance set so that it picks out the shapes I want. So we'll try, here's the options for the paintbrush. Double click on the paintbrush, up come the options. We'll try setting the tolerance at about 100, and might as well go for my yellow colour that I'm going to be using. So click on foreground, up comes the foreground swatches, choosing yellow, and this is what it's going to look like. We just want to see if we've got the tolerance right. So I'll try clicking on the roof. Try clicking on the panels. And it's bleeding out all over the place. The paint's just seeping through the gaps into the mud. So that tolerance is too high. We'll try moving it down to 50. 50, try again. Yep. Yep. See if I can get these little bits. Oh, that's a bit much. Bleeding out there still. I'll try some other places. So it sort of works on some things, but see if I click on. That's still too high tolerance. I'm using Apple Z to remove those and move the tolerance down a bit more, maybe 35. Oh, that's better. Just leaving out some of these. Oh, that bled through. A little bit less again, 30. Still picking out the shapes I want, I think. Let's just zoom in a bit so we can see what's going on with the front of this boat. So I'll need to be able to pick out bits like this, this, this. Yep, that's working fine now. The top of there, yeah, each panel is being selected separately by the paintbrush tool. There's a little bit of wood there, yes, little bits at a time, that's fine. Let's have a look at the satellite dish. Radar navigation, that's a little bit much. Let's try turning it down just for that one. $25. Well, that's going to be a tricky one because that's a sort of grey thing on a background. To get that right, we might have to go right down, and then that's too low. It's not. Well, that might still work. Little patches. No, I think we were fine at about 25. That's perfect. So now I've found the tolerance that I want. The quickest thing to do now, rather than undo everything, we're just going to delete that layer, the one that was highlighted, back to the original, duplicate, double click, rename it, tints, and now we're all set. Reason why we can't see it is because the visibility is switched off. Turn it on, there, we can see tints, zoom out. So what have we done? Basically what we've done is we've ascertained the optimum tolerance level for the paintbrush tool working with this picture. So now making sure the layer is selected. For the actual tinting, obviously I'm going to be a lot more subtle than to have just patches of bright yellow. So what we're going to do is choose the foreground tool, foreground colour, bright yellow, but we're going to reduce the opacity right down. So we're just putting on a thin wash, mostly transparent and mostly see-through. Turn it right down to, you can see what it's going to look like in the top there, right down to 10%. If it's too faint, we can always click twice. I'll show you, look, this roof. I want to make a bit more yellow. I clicked once, you can hardly see that, twice, 3 times, 4 times, now you're starting to see that's definitely yellow. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Far too much. Apple Z, take them right back down again. Went right back to the stage where I switched the eye off, switch it back on. So we're back to where we were. So I've shown that the paintbrush at 10% opacity is filling in that space just subtly. So now I can start the actual work of doing the tinting. I'm going round, tinting the areas of this boat that I want to look a little bit yellow.